welcome back to the channel. I'm Stacy and you're watching Pop Culture Time Machine, where we hit rewind and relive the legendary, the cringy, and the unforgettable moments that happened this very week, way back when. When the Rolling Stones album Goat's Head Soup hit number one on the Billboard 200 in the US on October 13th, 1973, it was more than just another chart topping success. It was a reflection of major shifts in pop culture, music, and the Stones themselves during a complex era. Goat's Head Soup had marked the fourth consecutive Stones album to reach number one in the US, solidifying their status as rock royalty. By 1973, they were no longer just part of the 1960s British invasion. They were the face of hard rock rebellion with staying power. The success had showed that the Stones could evolve past the 1960s and survive the 1970s, a time when many other bands at the time from their era were fading. The album was a move away from the gritty, raw sound of Exile on Main Street, which was released in 1972, embracing a more polished, darker, and moodier tone. Songs like Angie, which was a number one US single, brought in a softer, more introspective ballad style that surprised some fans. It showed that rock could be emotional and commercial, not just rebellious and loud. The Stones were deep into their decadent tax exile phase, recording in Jamaica to avoid the United Kingdom taxes. The album's cover, a blurred, ghostly photo of Mick Jagger in a chiffon veil, captured the vibe of glamorous burnout perfectly fitting the early 1970s. Released during the aftermath of Vietnam, Watergate, and general disillusionment in the United States, the public was craving escapism, rebellion, and raw emotion, which the Stones had delivered on Goat's Head Soup. Music critics were divided because some saw Goat's Head Soup as a creative decline after exile, while others praised its variety. Regardless of the sentiment, the album sold extremely well, showing that commercial success didn't need critic approval. It contributed to ongoing debates about authenticity in rock. Could a band stay true to its roots and still be on top of the charts? Goat's Head Soup also foreshadowed how massive commercial success would become a cultural weapon and a liability for artists in decades to come. Now let's talk screen time, and I don't mean TikTok. I Love Lucy premiered on October 15th, 1951 on CBS, and it became one of the most groundbreaking and influential shows in television history, not just in the United States, but worldwide. When I Love Lucy premiered, television was still a relatively new medium, so radio dominated entertainment and most TV content when it was broadcast live from New York. The show immediately stood out for several reasons. It was the first scripted TV show filmed in front of a live studio audience while using multiple cameras, so it was a three camera setup, which is now standard for most sitcoms currently. Lucille Ball starred opposite her real life husband, Desi Arnaz, who was a Cuban American band leader. At the time, seeing an interracial couple on TV was virtually unheard of. This challenged taboos and opened doors for better cultural representation, albeit it was slowly and within limits. Lucille Ball's portrayal of Lucy Ricardo was unlike anything on TV at the time. She was funny, ambitious, physical, and rebellious. Within 6 months of its debut, I Love Lucy became the number one show in America. Lucille Ball herself was a female executive producer, which was a rarity in the early 1950s. Lucy's expressions, slapstick, and signature red hair, even though it was black and white on TV, made her an enduring pop culture icon. I Love Lucy helped legitimize TV as a serious, artistic, and commercial medium. It reflected and challenged gender norms, the idealized American family home, and family life in the 1950s. It also created the blueprint for the domestic sitcoms that would dominate for decades to come, such as The Honeymooners, Friends, The Dick Van Dyke Show, and Modern Family, as well as many, many others. Here's your Did You Know of the Week. The BBC, or the British Broadcasting Corporation, was officially founded on October 18, 1922, as the British Broadcasting Company and later became a public corporation in 1927. Its creation marked the beginning of a new cultural era in Britain and had a profound influence on global broadcasting, communication, and pop culture. In 1922, the BBC was founded by a group of wireless manufacturers to promote radio sets through programming. The BBC gave millions access to news, music, drama, and educational content right into their homes. It had unified the United Kingdom during a time when newspapers were the only major media source. The BBC created a shared cultural experience. People started organizing their daily routines around BBC broadcasts such as Children's Hour, the shipping forecast, and radio plays. By the 1930s, though, the BBC was a trusted voice of authority, especially during World War II. Its wartime broadcasts, like those by Edward R. Murrow, kept morale high and became essential to daily life. This helped create a national conversation. Everyone heard the same voices, music, and stories. The BBC helped launch the careers of many British actors, writers, and comedians such as the Beatles, David Bowie, and the Rolling Stones through radio and TV exposure. The BBC didn't just reflect culture, it defined it. It decided what was worthy of being broadcast. This meant high art was favored over popular entertainment, especially in its first decades. It elevated public taste, but also excluded working class and popular culture, sparking debates about who gets to define culture and tension, which still remains current to this day. And that's a wrap on This Week in Pop Culture History. Let me know in the comments below what you remember from this week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a throwback. I'm Stacy, and I'll see you next Thursday, same time, same retro channel.